I'd like to try something because we are coming to the end of our hour. I'd
Mhm.
like for each of you, as you close, and since this is a podcast, tell parents very briefly what will change, what they could see, what changes they could see under your leadership. So this isn't some policy in Olympia, but something that'll be real and different about the way their child gets an education.
May I go first?
Sure.
Is that right? Well, I know parents worry about testing. The testing will continue, but there will be a shorter WASL next spring by about a third. The math programs that will be available to teachers will be stronger in their balance of math facts and understanding and application. So they'll have more and more assistance for their kids that they can be partners in because they haven't felt like they've been partners in the mathematics teaching of their children. There will be career and technical opportunities for the students, the parents whose kids are interested in both hands-on learning in different fields that are in the high demand coming economic opportunities for students. We'll have more skill centers and more skill center annexes. They're in the process of doing feasibility studies to have strong career and technical programs even in some of the rural areas of the state that would be viable for the jobs of the future. So students will be able to go into apprenticeship programs. All of them are opening up and they'll have a pathway for that. Parents will be able to be partners with their students and an advocate in their high school and their middle school to make a plan together as a family that's a personal plan for their student, and they'll be part of that plan. Funding is going to be tough because of the big crisis, but it's going to be done better. And the policy is going to get cleaned up so that we can make sure that when you think you've got class size money, it's really class size money and not something fictitious.
Thank you.
That was pretty comprehensive. Basically, I go back to education reform bill. Career and technical education was a big part of the bill. Career pathways was a big part of the bill. Get students in the sophomore year to have the skills in reading, writing, and math, to have the ability to learn. And then what they should actually take a look at, and there should be an overall guidance program for all students. And what I always called that was CIA, that students had to realize and understand how reading, writing, and math opens the doors to their opportunities in life. In other words, challenge. You got to figure out what challenges you. You figure out your interest, and you figure out your aptitude. And then you got to be linked up to the education and training you need, so you don't end up with a job, but you end up with a career. You end up with something you like to do, and you actually have somebody to pay you to do it. That is the key to education. That is the key that happens when kids get self-motivated. Another thing that I would like to work on that we never get to talk about, and that is leveling the playing field for every student to be hooked up to technology. I actually believe that not everybody can afford technology, but I think there is a segment of the population that already has the affordable ability to provide their students with technology. They can buy the hardware and they can pay the monthly bill to be hooked up to the internet. But I also believe there's another segment of the population that's out there that if they had the hardware provided for them, they could afford the monthly cost to be hooked up to technology. They can't afford the upfront cost. And we're doing it right now on the $100 computer program, across the world. I think we need to get our businesses and the communities to work on leveling the playing field, because when you leave the classroom, that is not where education ends today. It really starts when you leave, and that you learn constantly. And some of our students do not get that opportunity to learn constantly. The boys clubs are trying to do that with the after school programs. Skill centers are trying to do it, and then public libraries are trying to do it. But I really believe that that's one element that we really have to look on, and it levels the playing field for all kids.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lynn sort of added a concluding question, but I promised you each your closing statements, so no more than 2 minutes, please. Mr. Dorn, you go first.
We're just doing closing statements.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I got into this because I think we can all do better in public schools. And I believe our assessment system was flawed, but I want everybody to understand that I truly believe in high standards. I fought for it in '93. I believe in a graduation requirement. I fought for that, and I think that needs to stay. I believe that we've narrowed our system down, and that's what gives us the breadth and the creativity that actually builds a quality educational system, is that when students have the ability to imagine and do different things, that they really actually learn on their own. A quality teacher makes a difference in a kid's life in learning, not the assessment. The assessment is to check to see where kids are at and to be sure that we're accountable. But the quality learning happens because you have quality people in the school system, and they care about kids, and they truly believe that they're going to make a difference. Do I believe we should pay more to those folks? Absolutely. I'm not just talking about teachers. When I talked to superintendents, we always talk about math and science teachers, but when I talk to superintendents, I said, who is it really tough to keep in your school system and to hire? And it was amazing to me, lots of times they said bus drivers. I go, bus drivers? Why do you say bus drivers? He goes, before I can get kids in a classroom, I actually have to be able to transport them to school. And we have a tough time getting bus drivers. And the other thing was, it wasn't just math and science teachers, tough to keep in schools, it's special ed teachers. But yet we're always talking about math and science teachers, but really they're special ed. So as superintendent of public instruction, I believe you have to be an advocate for all kids. And that's what I do.
I would very much like your support for another 4 years in this job. Our country is at a turning point, and our young people, I believe, are the strongest graduating class that we've ever graduated this last year. And young people want to make a better world. They have to have the skills and the discipline and the knowledge and the confidence and a focus in their life in order to make that difference. And they have to find their way, the place where they can make their contribution. And our public school system is there first and foremost to make sure every child can read well, that can write clearly, that they can do their math and science. They also have to have access to the arts and to music and to all of the things that enrich their life and the social sciences. We certainly need to know how to govern ourselves better if we're going to keep our freedom. We are well on our way because of a set of clear standards and an open system of accountability and assessment. I believe we can certainly improve. We have many things to improve about the system, and still too many young people have been marginalized by the societal issues and sometimes by school issues. But we are now personalizing education to go find those young people, support them when they're young, build their skills, keep them involved, give them an opportunity to craft their own educational plan for their life with their families, no matter where their families are from around the state of Washington. When we're facing the difficult decisions, my life is about public education, learning, and young people. And I'm trustworthy, I have integrity, I have one purpose in life, is to make education better so that young people can find their path and get the skills they need to take that path and build us a better future. And I'd love to be here again.
Thank you both very much. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.